Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Daniel Umstead, host of the RNG radio show. I got another king, another king on the radio show here today, locally based out in Philadelphia. Just recently connected on the Super Realty Group. We've been knowing each other through social media. So prior to me getting started, let me tell you a little bit about his business. What he does, Core Inspection Group LLC, they thrive because of their strong foundation of experience and understanding the problematic components of properties and the skills to reach the most cost-effective solutions. Their customers over the years have appreciated the value delivered by core inspectors, including the thorough and accurate inspection services, followed by the detailed and comprehensive report they receive. They pride themselves on preventative maintenance, safety features, and keys to getting extended service life out of mechanical components. My guest, the owner, the founder, with a decade under his belt as a property investor of distressed properties, he has learned how critical a premium quality inspection was early on in his career. In order to flip and rent out his properties, he needed to know what he was getting into before making a commitment. His passion for providing thorough home inspections to provide maximum peace of mind for home buyers compelled him to launch Core Inspection Group. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Mr. Corwin Jackson, how are you today, King?
Hey man, I'm doing better than good, better than most, and sometimes better than that.
Hey, I'm loving that. I'm gonna just use that for myself moving
Hey,
forward. So
listen, man, I'll tell you, man, I didn't create that myself, man. I got that from the great Les Brown, and the first time I heard it, it really resonated with me. Because how many times you say, hello to people, like, oh, I'm doing all right.
right,
Oh,
right.
I'm doing fine. You know what? My grandmother, she used to say, I'm doing fairly well.
Right. Coming out like I'm all right. I'm all right.
Yeah, I'm doing,
Got a few things going on, but I'm okay. I'm okay.
yeah, yeah. And, the emotions and feelings and passion, all that stuff becomes you pick up on it easy.
Yeah,
You pick up on it easy. It also
yeah.
becomes contagious.
Absolutely. It just flows generationally, man.
Yeah.
So, Corwin, I get the story, distressed properties you're going through, and you trying to do your own fix and flips, and it's like people ain't just doing it right. Tell me about the full story, man. What really led to you saying like, all right, instead of just going to a reliable inspector, what made you say like, I just need to do this on my own?
Hey, you know what I can tell you, man. I think from early on, my passion was in real estate. And I had came out of the Marine Corps. I had a logistics background and just trying to find my place in the world, because that's always a tough transition when you exit the military. But I knew that I wanted to have a high level of involvement in real estate. But how do you do that? How do you escape your 9 to 5? And what's always said was, just be a realtor. It's so easy, which isn't true. But HGTV leads you to believe that. But I got to the place where I was purchasing primarily duplexes and triplexes, and a lot of them were all of them were distressed properties. They needed to be rehabbed. One of them, I was going down the conventional path for purchasing a property where someone had recommended a home inspection, and which was something new to me, because guess what? Most people don't know that they need a home inspection until their that expert, that real estate consultant, tells them, right? So at the property, we're getting a home inspection done, and the light bulb goes off. I remember talking to the guy, and I'm like, "Hey, do you do this like every day? Like, is this all you do?" I mean, it was a new industry to me, and he said, "Yeah, absolutely, I do this typically twice a day." And I said, "Wow, that's something different." And I think with that, I started looking into it more and more. And Daniel, as you know, now I'm going back about 10 or 12 years. So,
Yeah,
inspectors certainly didn't look like you and me,
no.
right? So I'm thinking to myself, I've always loved niche industries also. I think that we all, if we were getting electrical work or plumbing work done, we can all say, you know what? I can always have my cousin, my uncle, my friend, that family member that's been an electrician for many years. But the home inspection industry is still really, really new and still considered, a niche industry. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But within that, I just saw an opportunity, because guess what? This is when people are purchasing a house. It is, it's known to be the largest purchase that you're going to make in a
Yeah.
lifetime, right? So typically the largest financial exposure, we want to say, and most people have no idea, how to maintain a home, what needs to be done with a rubber roofing system. Um, if there's an emergency, how to turn the water off, or what type of service may you have, lead versus copper versus steel. And I just, those are the things that I still, really enjoy walking a first time home buyer through, and educating them on all of those things. So with that, I saw an opportunity, and I never look back, as the old saying says.
I love that, man. I love that. Now, with the services for home inspection, because I mean, being a realtor myself, of course, I usually run folks through the basics or just let them know, hey, you're going to need an inspection. What type of services do you offer compared to, the rest of everybody else? Because I know that, when folks look at home inspection services, they see, the radon, they see the basics. So what are the services that you provide? In addition, what are some of the services that you provide that others that you find don't provide?
Yeah, one of the things that we actually provide at no cost is we deploy an infrared camera. So all of our
Mm.
inspectors they are certified thermographers. And when the reason you want to use those infrared cameras is, guess what? If you have a leak that's not visible yet at the ceiling with the naked eyes, that infrared camera is going to tell you that, hey, there's a thermal anomaly going on here. Use your moisture meter in this area. I can't tell you, Dan, we have saved our clients thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars just going in and doing an infrared camera scan at no charge. Right?
Wow.
So we've saved them thousands and thousands of dollars, because sometimes, along with water intrusion issues, we can also find that there is a electrical issue, right, where you have wires that are overheating, right? Sometimes we can find issues with the HVAC system. So there's so many things that we use an infrared camera for, and I can tell you, it's allowed us to take our game, really, really, really to the next level.
Oh man, that's incredible. And then with an inspection, because I of course have been fooled before, thinking an inspection only takes oh so long, but thankfully, Super Realty Group has a great team of folks coming out, partner up with me. So folks on both ends. I'm talking with brand new realtors as well as homeowners who are looking to get an inspection done. How long should they be, planning for the day? Because some folks, which is kind of creepy, will say like, oh, I should be in there 15 to 20 minutes. And then others actually take their time and do what they're supposed to be doing, take longer than that. So if somebody's preparing for an inspection, how long should they be preparing themselves for it?
And I'm going to tell you, if you reach out to a home inspector, he tells you it's going to take him about 15 minutes. You should not work with that home inspector. So typically I'm going to say about 2 hours to 2.5 hours for a property up to 2,000 square feet. A good rule of thumb is for 1,000 square feet, figure an hour.
Okay.
For 1,000 square feet, figure an hour. So you figure most of the properties that we're at, you figure 2 hours or 2.5. Another things that plays a part in it is that the personality of the buyer, believe it or not. Because if they have a lot of questions, things that they really want to go in depth down the rabbit hole some of it may not necessarily be with issues that you're bumping into at the property, but it just may be questions. Hey, I read somewhere online that if you have a granite countertop, I may have radon. Well, here's a granite countertop. Is that true? Just things that you really need to take a deep dive in. So we are very mindful of the client's personality. And there are questions that we ask them specifically to give us an idea of their personality type, so that we know how we need to communicate with them. But sure, 2 hours, 2.5 hours will be, in most scenarios we'll have it wrapped up.
Okay. All right. And then with the business itself, I mean, you said you've been running it 10, 12 years now.
Yep.
What has been your greatest success in running your business besides being black owned?
Yeah, I think really just, there are a lot of young guys that have not yet figured out what they want to do. And I think being able to introduce other people to the industry. I got a guy Oh man, I wish I had the trophy with me right now. I got a
Well, I
trophy.
see some trophies in the back. So if
Man,
y'all are listening, y'all need to hop on the YouTube and
uh,
check out these trophies Corwin got in the back.
absolutely. But I got a guy that's been with us for 4 years now.
Mhm.
And one of the reasons that he came on board, he was actually running an architect firm,
Mm.
but one of the reasons he came on board is because that industry is changing where, if he does one model, it can then be used hundreds of times. So many things are available online, but being able to meet someone like him, bring him on and introduce him to a career has been rewarding. Um, there are times that I'm traveling through the airport with my family and someone stopped me. Hey, 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 remember, do you remember me? You inspected my
Wow.
house when I first bought it. That was 4 years ago. I learned so much. Thank you. You know,
Oh
th-
man.
things like that are rewarding. One of the things that, we don't like to talk about, is sometimes, a client falls in love with the wrong house and there's an emotional piece to it. It's never our job to say, hey, this is the house where you don't buy this house, because we don't know what their resources are.
Yeah.
No, we don't know if they have the ability to, invest some more money into it or whatever the case may be. But sometimes just being there and preventing a client from making a mistake, because guess what? If you communicate it correctly and leave the ball in their court for them to make the decision, they're going to call us back. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, they call us back and they're with the same agent that they were with at the first house, right? So, with that being said, a lot of the realtors that we work with, they're grateful because they know we protect their reputation. If there's something going on with the property, we're going to be 100% transparent. Integrity is most important in this business. So, we're able to build deep, long-lasting relationships with realtors because of that. They know if there's something going on with the property, we are going to help educate their buyer and put them in a position to either get a credit, negotiate repairs, or say, you know what, this is a little bit more than I want to chew. We'll move over to the next property.
No, I love that. I love that. And then the opposite um, of the greatest success, what has been like your biggest lesson? What failure specifically did you come across that you're like, you know what, from this point, this is how I'm going to do better. Everybody always use MJ's story. He got cut from the basketball team. Now, of course, he's
Yeah.
considered one of the GOATs. So what has been your biggest lesson that's keeping you continue with running your business, running your company?
You have to understand that for me, it's been that the Philadelphia market is a little bit different than other markets. And by that, I say that, I've been involved with a lot of different mastermind groups. We've met all over the country, from Seattle to Dallas and Tennessee. And sometimes I'll see things that they're doing in their market and it looks shiny. I'm like, oh, wow, I can't wait to duplicate that and bring it back to my market, where guess what? That's not what our clients are looking for. Where we are still, we're still one of the oldest, or we are, the oldest city in the country, right? So I'll give you an example. I was at a mastermind meeting a few years back, and everyone they were getting heavily involved in these energy efficiency tests, right? Going green, and I just think,
Okay.
for us, the way that and some of their homes, guess what? Their median would be probably 30, 35 years old in terms of the age of home. So a
Okay.
house that's 60 years old for them is really pushing it. But for us, it's nothing to be in a home that's 120 years old, 130 years old is nothing. So I say, one of the biggest lessons is, don't get distracted with things that are shiny, things that are being that are being newly introduced to the market. We talk about the needs of, the Philadelphia area. It's just that home inspection, lab-based paint inspection, termite, radon. Those are the things that, are going to make a healthy home. you know, and if there are other concerns, hey, the home has been closed up for an extended period of time, there was water intrusion issues, and maybe we bump up to a mold test, right? But we don't always need to do to identify, hey, what's that breaking edge technology? What's the newest thing being introduced in the country? Because guess what? Philadelphia has a very unique environments, a unique demographic in what makes up these other countries. So really just understanding what you are good at, right? What your team can go out and execute at a high level and stay focused on those things.
Love that, man. Love that. And then I gotta ask the crazy question because I
So,
haven't done too many inspections in my life. I'm very, very part-time realtor.
yeah.
But the one time that I did, I saw a bag of potatoes in the kitchen, and I'm saying I didn't even know potatoes could get that color. So
Uh-huh.
my question to you, throughout all your inspection services, what has been the craziest thing that you came across during an inspection?
Oh man, wow! There's a lot. I could tell you one of my most memorable inspections where we completed probably 3/4 of the inspection and didn't realize that there was uh there was someone living in the basement.
Oh,
Someone had broken in the home, and they were just camping down in the basement. And you know what's funny? There was an older woman purchasing a home, and I remember her saying, "There's a funny smell going on that I don't remember being here before." You know that type of deal. But sure, I could come back to you with some other things. I just know that that was the most memorable
it's
because
definitely. Now,
yeah.
did y'all actually see the person going through the inspection, or you just noticed the stuff was there?
We noticed some stuff was there. Then we went down into the basement. I could tell you the buyer treated it like it was her house right now. So I'm there. She was an older woman,
Hmm.
and the realtor that I was with, she was younger. So I think she was if I had to guess, the home buyer had to be like early 60s. The realtor was in lower 20s. So you would think the man, as the inspector, has to lay it down, make sure everyone's safe, and figure out. But no, that buyer, if she was a first-time home buyer at that age,
Yeah.
she let them know, "You're going to get out of my house right now. I don't know who you are. You don't belong here." It's like she took charge and said, "You will not come back in this place before." And he got his stuff, and he got up out of there.
Oh man, the power got.
Yeah,
She put the
yeah,
fan got it.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man, that's crazy, man. And then I talked about the website. It's coreinspectiongroup.com, correct?
Yes, sir.
Where else can folks find you at on social media if they want to do some further digging?
At Core Inspection Group is our Instagram. You guys can find we got a company Facebook, and then of course you can find my own Facebook Corwin Jackson. You can reach us at 215 987 7547. Again, that's 215 987 7547. That's, you can call the schedule or you can text the schedule. You can also go on our website to schedule. So sure, those are the easiest places to reach us at. One of the things I like to make sure people know is, hey, you don't have to
Yes.
wait until Monday to schedule an inspection if you wanted to call in. We have a fully staffed office. So we got people available during the weekends from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. if you wanted to call the schedule then. So just trying to make sure we have we give folks the opportunity 7 days a week to get scheduled.
Covering all bases. No, I love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Yeah.
And then testimonials and referrals, because I mean, outside of you just being in business for 12 years, in addition, where can folks find like the most in regards to testimonials? Or
Hey,
you have a referral list where folks can, if they just wanted to call in and say like, hey, who can you refer that has used your services in the past?
hey, that is a great question. Right now we have over 1,000 5-star reviews.
Wow.
Let me say it again. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews. So what I tell people is, particularly our referral partners, because we have some awesome agents that refer to us. So if you guys use Core Inspection Group, you're more than likely to have a exceptional home inspection experience of Core Inspection Group than any other company, right? So just by going on to Google and checking out our reviews, you guys can see some real accurate testimonies. And I tell you what, that's not by mistake. We talk about that every day during our team. I mean, every week during our team meetings, right? What does it take to have an exceptional home inspection experience? What does that look like, right? And it's simple. We're going to show up early to the inspection. So if there's a problem with the lockbox, if there's a problem with getting access, hopefully our inspector can go out, he can get that resolved before the client gets there, right? It's cold outside now, we're in the winter months. So guess what? He's going to go in and he's going to make sure that heat is comfortable. He's going to make sure the lights are on, right? So we come in, so when that client gets there, we open the door, we can give them, hey, the welcome home. They're going to go in that door and it's going to feel like home, right? Some of the small things really go a long way. So we don't wear our outdoor shoes inside the house, right? So we don't have to worry about a lot of the houses, as you know, are someone lives there, their own. These aren't the majority of them. I would say 70% of them aren't just vacant properties. But even still, so we're not going to walk in, tracking whatever we walk through outside into the home. We think is very important to treat that house as our own, right? So another thing that we do that, listing agents really love before we head out the house, there's a quick form. I call it a tent card, it's a quick form. Hey, we appreciate you welcoming Core Inspection Group into your house. But with that, there's a checklist that we're going through, right? That's going to say, hey, did we leave the lights off? Yes. Is the oven off? Yes. Is the door, are we locking the door? Yes. What is the heat setup? All those different things. That way, the one, it tells the homeowner who was in their house. Two is telling the listing agent, hey, we do have a protocol, to make sure that we didn't, leave the AC on. We didn't leave any water running, all those types of things. So just really leaving the house as the way we found it. So again, and those are the things that, here's a tip to any other home inspection companies that may be listening here. Those are one of the tricks that we've done to make sure we crash through 1,000 reviews. So again, if people are looking for that, they can go into Google to find that info.
I love that. Appreciate that, man. And you've been in business 12 years, and it sounds like, if people are looking at this and going by a timeline and stuff, it's 2022, 12 years ago. We was just coming out of, a recession and things were growing. What advice can you give to somebody? Because this recession, of course, is going to pass through, that's coming up. What advice can you give somebody that's looking to start their own business?
This is a great time to do it. You have to find your tribe, right? You have to understand, like, within every real estate office, within every investment club, within every Facebook group, you're not going to have one of those areas and then you get 100% of that office, or you get 100% of that Facebook group, right? So you have to focus on who is in each of those offices, Facebook groups, investment groups that you can partner and connect with, right? Because if it's the right investor, if it's the right realtor, if it's the right buyer, why are we going to wait for the recession to be over to start building those relationships, right? One of my favorite books, The 7 Levels of Communication by Michael Mayer, it really talks about, how do you build businesses by relationships and not by marketing, right? How do you work to attract like-minded people? You don't want to wait until the recession is over to start doing that. And one of the things that you can appreciate, Daniel, is that, a lot of these, because when I connected with you last week, I think it was last Sunday, you talked about how excited you were about the recession and different things that you were getting ready to launch and get into. There are people that are passionate, where the market isn't going to dictate their attitude. The market isn't going to dictate what new initiatives they launched. So what I want you to appreciate is that, guess what? A lot of these realtors that have been in it because the market was red hot, right? So it was easier to get transactions done. We now got to roll up our sleeves and work a little bit harder, right? We now have to double down. So that person that's going to launch his business now, there are going to be other people in that industry that's going to be jumping out because it's not as easy, right? I know a ton of people, business owners, agents that tell me, how they look forward to a recession, how it shakes things up a bit. I have a whiteboard over here that I can look at, and I can tell you there are a lot of things on there that if things were not slowing down a bit, probably would not be able to launch, such as we got a mold remediation company that we're launching. You and I talked about it before.
Yeah.
Mold investigators. So that's one of the things. We'll also be doing radon mitigation, right? So for me, I'm appreciative of this time because all the other entities that I wanted to get up and running, when you're moving at a breakneck pace, you're moving at 100 miles an hour. It's hard to get other protocols, processes, entities, work instructions, SOPs. It's hard to get all those things in place for new companies. But when things start to slow down a bit, you can say, all right, cool, I can start moving other pieces of the chessboard around. So sure, it's a great time for other business owners, or at least it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got one last question for you, in addition to the plug again. We talked about the recession, economy's going crazy. Supreme Court just released this morning as far as what their schedule is going to be like, talking about Twitter, Google, and the student rollout plan. And it's shaky, with this pandemic, it's opened a lot of eyes to folks, and some people have become stronger from it. Some people, have gone even just weaker from it. And we all have our good days and we all have our bad days. And sometimes we feel like that bad day is just like canceling out the whole week for us. With the bad days, how do you stay motivated? If appointments are getting canceled, or you're not seeing the return, just for that week, like how do you stay motivated to keep grinding and keep moving?
I think being focused on a big picture. I had someone tell me I was at one of those mastermind groups, and they were just telling me at 12 noon, they set an alarm on their clock. And that alarm, when it turns on, it gives them their yearly goals, right? So I think kind of looking at that, using it as a compass every day. When that phone goes off and I'm looking at that every day and I'm looking at my goals, it lets me know that this is just one more bump in the road that we need to push through, because you have to know what that end game is. You have to know what that goal is at the end of the year. And Daniel, I'm not telling you that I don't get frustrated.
Yeah.
When I know we have 4 inspections on the schedule for Tuesday, I come in at 8:30 and 2 of them for whatever reason has canceled. I'm not telling you that I don't get frustrated, but I do understand, what the end game is. Yeah.
Okay. I love that. Love that. And one more time, Corwin, can you give us that social media and where folks can find you at online?
Sure. Instagram is at Core Inspection Group. You can use my name for Facebook. We also have a company Facebook. And then best number to reach us on, I think most of our appointments come in via phone call, is 215-987-7547. If you guys want to shoot us an email and correspond that way, it's info@coreinspectiongroup.com.
Love that, man. Love that. Corwin, I appreciate your time, man. I know you got a business to run. I am honored to have you on the show, Black King on the show. So listen, looking forward to have you coming back on, and have an amazing and wonderful day, my brother.
Hey, man, I'm always available, man. I'm going to take a quick photo. I'll get a social media post.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, dude. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Make it a great day. Give me a yell if you need me.
Shall do, brother. Shall do.
All right, talk to you.
Thank you for tuning in to the RNG Radio Show. Be sure to like and subscribe for more episodes and future content. If you'd like to learn more, visit us at danielumstead.com. Stay blessed, my fellow millionaires.